Investigators are learning more about a deadly terror attack in Louisiana and a separate explosion in Nevada. In New Orleans, at least 15 people were killed, including the attacker, when a driver intentionally plowed his truck through a crowd on Bourbon Street in the early morning hours on New Year's Day. The FBI now says the man responsible for that deadly rampage acted alone. And hours later in Las Vegas, a Tesla Cybertruck packed with explosives blew up outside of Trump International Hotel. Police believe the driver shot himself in the head right before the explosion. At least 7 others were injured. Officials have found no definitive link between the New Orleans attack and the truck explosion in Las Vegas. Well, President Joe Biden returned to the White House from Camp David today. He called the terror attack in New Orleans despicable and emphasized that the spirit of New Orleans will never be defeated. And as the investigation continues, earlier today in the Situation Room, the president met with his top national security officials for an update on both the attack in New Orleans and the truck explosion in Las Vegas. White House correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen.
Tracy, among the victims of the terror attack in New Orleans, an 18-year-old woman dreaming of becoming a nurse, a single mother, a father of 2, a football star. And in addition to those who lost their lives, President Biden said today 35 people were injured.
In New Orleans, the FBI investigating the horrific attack. A U.S. Army veteran driving a pickup truck into a crowd of New Year's revelers on Bourbon Street. One woman described the terrifying scene she witnessed from her hotel room.
And to see immediately dead bodies laying in the street, both directions, is something that nobody should have to see in the beginning of the new year. It's heart-wrenching.
Among those killed, 27-year-old Tiger Besh, who played football at Princeton University, and before that, at St. Thomas More Catholic High School in Lafayette. The FBI identified the driver as 42-year-old Shamsu Din Bahar Jabbar, a U.S. citizen from Texas. He died in a shootout with police. Investigators now believe he acted alone. They found guns and what appeared to be an explosive in the vehicle, along with other explosives elsewhere in the French Quarter. After returning back to the White House from Camp David, the president did not take questions from reporters, but later, at a separate event in the state dining room, President Biden gave this update.
Today, the FBI briefed me that as of now, we have no information that anyone else is involved in the attack. They've established that the attacker was the same person who planted the explosives in those ice coolers.
Investigators say Jabbar posted videos that stated he joined ISIS before this past summer.
Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the disbelievers.
The district attorney in New Orleans today described the attack on Bourbon Street as planned and strategic.
The perpetrator used a Ford F-150 Lightning vehicle that weighs over 6,000 pounds, likely because of its ability to cause extensive damage.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel, where that Tesla Cybertruck packed with firework mortars and camp fuel canisters burst into flames hours after the New Orleans attack. Law enforcement now identifying the man killed in the vehicle as Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty U.S. Army soldier and member of its elite Green Berets.
Obviously, we're always concerned in these sorts of events to ascertain what the motive is. We understand that's at the forefront of everyone's thoughts. And so looking into exactly what the motivation is remains our #1 priority.
In addition, President Biden said the attacker in New Orleans had a remote detonator in his vehicle to set off and explode those ice chests. The president also said today the U.S. will continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorists where they are. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.